Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new, welcome. If you're a veteran, welcome back. Thanks for listening to the episodes or watching the episodes. Today, we're going to talk about and I talked about this before Hans, before we started this. I was like, what do you exactly mean? He's like, well, explain. Should a personal protection or police dog bark?
At the bad guy.
At the bad guy, yes.
Yeah.
So, and you actually wrote a sort of
I wrote a post on it on Facebook. I thought it would be a good topic.
Yeah.
Because not everybody reads my scribble on my.
Well, you write a lot. I mean.
I guess I do.
So, which is good.
I like to teach. Yeah. I like to tell people.
Yeah.
My thoughts,
Good.
People say I'm wrong, and I say, okay, I already know that. Why don't you tell me something which would make me right?
Yeah.
But then they don't. Yeah. Then it's only crickets after that.
Yeah. I should play. I had on this board. I can play crickets. I can program it. So yeah, what's your? Well, I mean, this is historic too. These are stories that I think.
Yeah. Well. There's really no right and wrong. It just depends what you do with the dog, right? Mm-hmm. Personal protection, law enforcement dogs have different functions, and some of them help to bark, right? Personal protection dogs, they are mainly protecting you for something coming at you. So when they bark, it works like a deterrent, like a threat.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Right, and then it also works like signaling, right? Obviously, when you sleep and somebody's coming on a property, dogs bark. It's called signaling.
Yeah,
at least
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter the dog. Sometimes the caller writes about that. It could be like some dogs they're great at it. It's not a man stopper. There's a little dog, but they'll bark. Like at least they're warned. People
see what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I don't want to forget anything. See, when you write, you have time, to think and go back and forth.
I was just looking at the monitor what he wrote on Facebook. He just wrote this that same day we're recording this.
Yeah. Well, so let's say personal protection dog, right? You go in a park somewhere or so.
Yeah.
And somebody wanna hurt you or whatever, so you give the dog command and the dog barks.
Yeah.
Nothing special about that, but it's a good task. It's a deterrent.
Yeah.
And that's so you do it on command, right? But then there are dogs which do so-called silent guard, right? And or they're silent, right? And you don't want them to bark, right? Like Czechoslovakian Border Patrol, for example, I was told by Yuri anyway, when they track or apprehended somebody, they did want the dog to be silent guarding, because if there would be some other bad guys around, they didn't want to know where they at. So it was silent, right? On the other hand, you can go to, I sold some dogs to Oakland, California, and I was told that. And few jurisdictions did that they didn't want the dog to bite. They just want to run towards the bad guy and hold and bark like in a Schutzhund, right? And and then if the bad guy would attack or not stop moving or so, then the dog would bite. And they stop a lot of lawsuits because the bad guy, when they get bitten, right or wrong, deservedly or not, in other words, legally, they still sue, right? And unfortunately, Oakland and a lot of jurisdictions, they don't want to sue.
Yeah.
They don't want to fight back, in other words, so they just settle.
Yeah.
So, you get bit by dogs, so you pretty much get assured that you get $40,000 when you sue, right? Or something like that. Which I think every one of those should be challenged and lawsuits in that way. At first, maybe, you may pay more and whatever, but in the long run, it's it's better.
You'll
right?
get a judge this. You're gonna.
And they have insurance and all that, but then the insurance goes up, right?
Yeah. So everything gets it's like a compounded issue.
So anyway, Oakland and some other jurisdictions, they solved it that the dog did bark and hold, right? So that was barking, right? But so there were situations like area protection dogs, for example, right? So you want them to bark to scare people away from the property, but but a lot of times what happens is if the bad guys are already sophisticated, if the dog is hitting the fence, they can get stabbed or spray acid on them and weird crap like that. But generally speaking, when they see dogs, they're barking and all that, they don't go there, unless they are.
They don't want to chance it.
They don't want to chance it, right? But for example, Gero, the legendary Gero z Blatenského zámku, can put a picture of him there.
Yeah,
it's right
Is
there. He towards his older age, after they retired him, they put him guard this lot, where they had like a semis from semi trucks, sometimes loaded with merchandise.
Yeah.
So they would put Gero there, and Gero, was very territorial. So when somebody climbed the fence, he would chase them. He bark at them and chase them, but they got away.
Yeah.
And Gero didn't like that, right? So he would be laying under one of those semi trailers and wait until the bad guy climbed the fence and went far enough from the fence so he couldn't make it, and then he attacked him.
So he figured it out.
And he was quiet, right? So there was no barking.
Yeah.
And the guy who had him, he had actually a room which called Gero's Hall of Fame. And
it's funny. I can just imagine this room.
Yeah. And there were like bloody pieces of shirt and shoe, what
articles of clothing.
Yeah, what Gero tore away from the bad guys, right?
Wow.
So that was Gero, but there was no barking, right? And then you have, of course, in sport, the dog barks, and all that, and then you have a speak, and that's different, right? Speak is štěkni, or štěkej, either way, right?
Yeah.
And štěkni is a ZVV command, right?
Yeah.
You have to make the dog, Germans say geblaut, right, or whatever, right? So speak up.
Yeah,
right?
My female knows it because it's from Hans. And,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, she does that, right? Yeah.
I haven't done it to her, but I know she does because I know.
Yeah, and you do it. You hold a tennis ball in your hand, right,
Yeah.
or some kind of a ball.
Yeah.
I don't like tennis ball because they grind the teeth. So just some kind of a ball, and you hold it in your hand right here, and with two fingers you do. Say štěkej, 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 and they'll go woof, and you throw them the ball, right?
That's
okay, and that's how you teach that.
And eventually, because she knows even
and
without
it. And eventually, you just do like this, right? And say štěkej or štěkni, and the dog starts barking.
It's a female. She barks as this. I don't need more barking. It's a female. She barks as this so much. I don't need more.
But this is on command, right?
On command, yeah.
But this is not protection barking. This is just a game.
Yeah, just a
right?
game. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
And but it shows that you can teach dogs things, right? That's what it was in that ZVV training.
Yeah.
So also when you let's say the dog apprehends somebody, right? And they handcuff him, or in Czech they do this exercise where they gotta raise a hand and dog sits in front of him and you frisk him, right? Yeah. So that way, there the dog is also quiet, silent guard.
Yeah,
So there's different reasons
bark or not to
bark or
right?
not bark, right?
Yeah.
Now, as I said, when you go in a park and somebody is coming at you, you just say pozor. And they'll go, whoa, 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 and people usually back off.
Yeah. But even in our training sessions, certain dogs, it's, they're quiet, when
and it's, inherently, some dogs tend to bark You know, when they guard and some just look at you silently.
And they're furious. Don't get me wrong; these dogs will mess you up. It's just
right. But it's just every dog is a little different.
Yeah,
and you can train it one way or the other. The silent bark is really like you have pointers, and they point the bird.
Yeah.
So when the dog is looking at you and waiting for you to move, basically they're pointing.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you know, it's interesting thing. You know, should the dog bark or not? You know.
Yeah.
Another thing, what I do if if I'm in the house and I would see some unsavory characters slinking around my house.
Yeah.
I would just say, "Pull the door," and all my dogs
they light up.
They light up.
It's funny. Hans's dog is in the truck, and it's further away a little bit, and then Hans says he's explaining something. You got to say like "Bazar," and then Zark goes. Rah, rah, rah. You can hear him in the truck.
Yeah.
You can hear him.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but you know, it's so okay. Well, that's about it. I think I didn't forget anything.
If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version. But if you have a dog that doesn't...
It just depends what you guys want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as I said, if you're Border Patrol and you're tracking, you don't want the dog to bark on a track, right?
Yeah.
Like some dogs do.
Yeah.
Or you don't want, you know, you just want them to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know.
But some dogs they bark more than others.
And you may have a military application, you know, and or so a lot, or police they will alert the dog, and so the guy says, "Oh God, dogs, I better give up," right?
Yeah,
and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Or the military, they may flush the bad guy, terrorist running out of the house somewhere.
Yeah,
and they hear the dog say, "Oh, I don't want," and they run and
As Hans says. Was the warm and fuzzy? The world is. The dog thinks that the world is
teaching the dog that world is warm and fuzzy, but now and then somebody needs killing, right?
I joke with that. It should be the title.
Oh, it should be, you know, like a really friendly dog. Baseline or the foundation or the default should be really friendly.
Yep.
And only then you should teach the dog to do protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to teach a dog who is nasty protection.
Yeah.
You know, that you have a dangerous... I mean, you can have a dog like that, you know, if you're smuggling heroin or stuff, that's, you know. But otherwise, you know, for family or personal protection, I want the dog to be generally friendly and only have these spikes of unfriendliness when necessary, absolutely.
That's what's so great, because I've seen a fair amount of Junipo dogs now over the years that they really have a good, friendly disposition.
Yeah, they got to be friendly.
Yeah.
People think protection dogs... A lot of times, you know, people say, well, I don't want to train protection. I want them to be mean. Wow. I said, no, that you have it backwards, man. Yeah. The dogs who are not trained protection, they making the decisions. They're actually much more unsafe and dangerous than the dog who are trained protection.
Yeah.
Because the dog who is trained protection, they do it on command, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, they discriminate. They know, okay, the situation requires it or not, right?
Yeah.
But basically, they do it on command. Otherwise, they're friendly.
Yes. Yeah.
100% friendly, unless told otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. My female, she belly rubs and whatever you want to give her. But if I say the word, she's nuts. Yeah. You know, but that's a good... Yeah, I think it's a good point. Well,
so there you go.
All right. Well, thank you, Hans, for the knowledge today. Please visit Alpine Canine Reel for personal protection video series. It's a 4-part video series where Hans shows you step by step how to build a real personal protection dog, which doesn't have the baggage. Also, how to feed puppies raw. The obedience, which is really important. That's one of the most popular videos.
The Canine Art of War.
Canine Art of War.
Which is where you're helping the dog.
Yes. So they don't stand there. You got to help the dog if there's an actual situation. And Hans kind of explained. It's a good video. It's a really good video. And the leash making. If you want to make an excellent leash, and Hans, what over how many years of experience kind of perfected this leash.
Yeah.
And it's rather simple once it's like the Columbus is Ick thing. But, and it's so, I love the leash because it's so much more comfortable in your hands. The more you use it, the softer it gets. It's just it's a phenomenal leash to make.
And it shows you how to braid it, how it's done. It's very simple.
It is. And the silly, the clasp doesn't fail. That's the thing that keeps failing on these cheap, like these like whatever through the internet, Petco or whatever. I don't know who sells them.
Did you put there that number?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so check out all those videos. If you're looking for a puppy or a trained dog, make sure you contact Hans at the end of the video. You'll see his info.
Also, I would like to say that when you buy the bundle of the protection videos or the obedience, if you have a questions or want to send me video of you training the dog, I have no problem to look at it and tell you what you're doing right or wrong.
Yeah.
I know Gabor doesn't want.
No, Hans helped. Hans helps so many people over the phone or the internet. It's just amazing. You give so much, which is great. It's awesome that most dog trainers will not do that.
I enjoy it, and when somebody is buying that video, I feel obligated to make sure that they succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's important.
And it's not just I enjoy it. I just like
that's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. There's no other way of.
If I won't like it, you couldn't get me do that.
I know. Not for 55 plus years. So, all right, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.
Ahoy.